Hello everyone, it's Laura Husband here from Hairdressers Journal International, and I'm very excited to be here for our HJ Goes Live session. We had a great session yesterday with the amazing Jack Howard, who showed us how to create an online tutorial from either from your home or from the salon, which was fantastic. So I hope a few of you checked it out. And today we've got the amazing Adam Reed, the session hairdresser extraordinaire, who is going to be sharing with us lots of hints and tips, and you can pretty much ask him anything. So I can spot him now, so I'm just gonna, here we go, and read. So we're just waiting for Adam to connect. So as I say, please have your questions ready, because this is an ask me anything session. Hello Adam.
Hi.
Oh, fantastic, great to see you.
You too, you look amazing. I like your little headband
Thank you. I
there.
decided to kind of go all pretty and summery just for you, and I
Me
can
too.
see you've spoiled us today as well, Adam.
Do you know what? I got bored yesterday and I had a tube of colourful hair in my cellar, and I put it over my grey hair, and I've also put it on my son's hair.
I love it. So you
Only because he wanted me to do it.
Of course, of course. So you're kind of, you've got lovely, gorgeous pink hair just for us today.
Absolutely. Obviously, it's wig on Wednesday. I've got a couple of wigs. I've had a nightmare because most of my kit is in a storage unit, and we can't get in it.
No, of course, yeah.
So I can't get my wigs, my blocks, nothing, which is, it's sort of making me feel quite strange that I've got my basic kit and
Definitely.
what I can get when I'm doing my salon visits.
Is it a bit like having a limb missing? You kind of feel like you just want to have it all with you.
If anybody has seen my cupboards and my storage and my wig collection, everybody knows how important it is to me. Ryan, my art director, always laughs about the cupboard that we have in the salon that is just full of kit. I am obsessed with the best kit, the best products, the best tools, the best hair. So yeah, I have a lot. So I feel like it's really strange not having access to that.
You feel like you're naked right now. Well,
yeah, nobody wants to imagine that at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday morning.
Gorgeous pink hair as well, of course.
Absolutely, it's
yeah.
glowing, and I posted it yesterday, and somebody said, "Are you sunburned?"
Oh no, I think it's just because you've got the light there, haven't you?
Absolutely.
And where are you filming from at the moment? Because you've
So
got
I'm in my shed,
backdrop going on.
This is my shed at the bottom of my garden, and this is where I come to chill out. You can see it's got all of my, obviously I love perfume. I'll give you a little show around in a minute. It's tiny, and
so
it's got
can't smell it in a way, because I bet it smells amazing.
It smells incredible, and there's a lot of the perfume at the back is all quite limited editions and very old perfumes. The only problem that I have in here is I had it put in last year, and it's beautiful, but it has no Wi-Fi, and I've not been able to get anybody round to fix the Wi-Fi.
Of course, yeah.
So actually, there's something that's really beautiful about the solitude that I'm finding in here, but I'm a massive keen gardener. I love gardening. So I've got this at the end of my garden, and it really is my sanctuary. I love it in here. So it's got my desk, and then I often do wig work in here. I think I can't move this phone, but
I think you can kind of see in the background. You can see there.
And then there's a little chair. My son comes and reads in here, and it smells beautiful, and there's magazines everywhere.
Brilliant. Well, do you know what? Someone's actually asked us, which is, you've already started answering. What are you doing to keep yourself busy during lockdown?
Do you know what? I found it quite hard. I'm going to be really honest, because I didn't realise. I didn't think I was that social. I gave up drinking about 8 years ago, and I changed my socialising massively then. So actually, I thought I'd be quite prepared for this. And I did a little project with a great photographer. I put it up yesterday where I went to do a salon visit yesterday because I'm checking everything's good in there. It's a very old building, so I'm making sure everything is safe and secure. And he remotely took pictures of me using my phone. And then I wrote a whole piece. And what's funny for me is I found it really difficult. And at first, I'm going to be really honest, it was too much like a Hollywood film.
Yeah.
I've watched Contagion, and I recently had watched Pandemic on Netflix, and You know,
Isn't it hilarious that they're the trending films on there? Everyone's interested in it.
Also, when you watch them, and I'd watched them prior, I'm quite interested in stuff like this. I was blown away by how true they were before it had happened. So then my conspiracy theories came out. But actually, what I found was at first I didn't believe it was going to be as big as it is.
No, exactly.
And it took me quite by surprise. So to say that I was unprepared is an understatement, because although I love reading, everybody knows I love magazines and print, and I've got lots of magazines around.
Yeah.
And lots of books and reference books that I use. And up here, there are masses of folders that I have tear sheets in. I'm still a massive tear sheet person. So when it all hit, firstly, I was sorting out the business and sorting out my team. We'd only been open for 4 weeks.
We need to talk about that, Adam. So let's talk, because we need to talk about the craziness of everything you've been doing this year already. Yeah.
Yeah, madness. My last 12 months have been so surreal, I have to say, even before this had happened. But do you know what I've done? On my phone, I have about 70,000 images. Everybody knows I take loads of images. I upload a lot of images, download whatever you do with them online. I've looked at everything that I've had, magazines, books, my photos, old work that I've done. It's been the most incredibly cathartic thing to do.
Wow. So have you been kind of reflecting on things
in
the past and
days?
Oh, wow.
Which is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I've also reconnected with hairdressers that I've worked with over the years. The time to do that. I'm quite busy.
Exactly.
I think I make myself quite busy. I'm happy being quite busy. I'm not one of those people that is stressed out by the amount of work I've got. I love that.
No.
I thrive on it. And I've never really done that. And do you know what? It's been the best thing I've done. I've really reassessed what I do. I'm also really, really proud of where I've got to. Because again, I work because I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm really proud. I've realised actually I've done quite well. Starting in Somerset, I left school in 1989. I have the best team now. I've worked with the best people. And whether that is Carolyn Newman at Charles Worthington, Sam Shepherd-Gardner, my people at Percy and Reed, my new team, the assistants that I've had backstage at shows over the years, X Factor, things like that. I really have. I've worked with way more people than a lot of people because of the breadth of work that I've done. So I've looked back on that, and I would encourage so many people, even if you're only a couple of years into it, it's so powerful to have a little look back.
Definitely. And like you say, make those connections again, because collaborations and things that can always spark new inspiration.
Yeah. And do you know what's really nice in this industry is the camaraderie. We all have talked about it over the last couple of weeks. But even looking back at my old friends, I was looking at some of my school friends on social media, which I don't necessarily look on social media.
No, yeah.
I post a lot. I use it as media. I've reconnected with some of my school friends, and they've been telling me, a girl actually the other day who went on to do hair said, I remember at upper school you talking about arranging a fashion show, and I had never remembered that.
No.
And do you know what? It absolutely warmed my heart, because it's obviously always been there for me.
Yeah. And
I honestly,
in their mind as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, coming from Somerset, a few people have done really well. And again, I don't want to sound big-headed, because I'm not really big-headed, in the sense of I don't look at myself as being in a position within the industry. I've never done that. I love what I do.
Yeah.
I don't really have an ego that needs feeding. So actually what I do is I get on with most people. I'm a human. There are some people that I don't get on with so much, but I tend to just steer clear. But do you know what? I've used this time quite productively, and if I hadn't, I think I'd have gone the other way, where I probably would have gone on quite a downward spiral.
Yeah.
But looking at where I've got and how I've got to where I've got, I also think it's testament to nowadays, everything is so disposable. When I started, it wasn't.
No,
You know,
yeah.
when we got something in a magazine, we'd have done it 4 months before.
Mm.
So we'd have done a feature. And I remember
Yeah.
I did a feature on my kit bag for HJ and I found it.
Oh,
Pasted
brilliant.
it
We'd love to see
my
it, Adam.
I'll show you it all because I've been compartmentalizing everything from where it was and when it was. But I was at the Charles Worthington Salon in Percy Street and I had my kit bags all out all over the floor. And I was looking at my passion then, and that was 15, 16 years ago. And I was like, actually, I haven't changed that much. And I
No,
was pleased.
yeah.
But also, I was just like, God, I remember when I came to London with this big dream. And actually, what's quite nice is I'm living that dream.
Definitely.
And that's with the help of
Yeah.
everybody. I've not done that on my own.
No.
I've done that with everybody around me. But I was talking to Sally Brooks the other day, and Sally and I, a long time ago, this was 22 years ago, I was asked to go and do a shoot in place of Charles because he was unable to do a shoot. Sally was asked to do a shoot in place of Trevor, and it was the same shoot. And I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not even going to mention. It wasn't an industry magazine, but it was a consumer hair publication.
Right. Yeah.
And we all went, and it was for breast cancer awareness, and we all did these things. And I did this beautiful stencil of the pink ribbon, and Sally did this beautiful look that had all pink sort of dusted around it. And at the end, they said, "Can everybody come in for a photo?" And we all went in, and they said, "Sorry, can you two go out? Because we don't know who you are."
Yeah.
They told Sally and I to go and stand at the side, and we stood there.
Brilliant.
And we were like, "Oh my God, that's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened." And again, I'm not going to name the hairdressers that went in, but nobody stood up for us. Nobody said, "Actually, they've just done the hair. Come in."
Yeah, they should be here. Yeah.
They should be here. They've done the hair. Anyway, my picture, well, actually, both of our pictures were used as the main pictures. My picture was on the front of the magazine, and I was just like, isn't it interesting? But I also thought I'm never going to treat people like that again. So I'm massively inclusive.
Definitely.
But I've learned that through my career.
Yeah, I love the fact, Adam, that you're using this time to be so reflective and think positively about how you can use the time to reconnect with people, look back on what you've done in the past, and then use that to improve your creativity movement. We've had a few questions, Adam, so I'm just going to jump in and
you jump in because I'll talk for Britain.
Yeah. So, well, firstly, we've had Justina say that Justin. Oh, I think it might Justin Atishoka has said that he'd love to assist you one day, Adam. How would he go about assisting you at some point?
So what people do with the bigger shows, I always put something out, and I've always done that because what I realised, again, coming from Somerset where we didn't have masses of opportunity, I always realised that I was in quite a lucky place when I was doing TV. And as you guys know, I've sort of taken on jobs that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily take on. When I first took on X Factor, everybody's like, "You're selling out, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that." That was 10 years ago. And I was just like, honestly, it's the best experience I've had. So unless you're doing it, you know, leave your negative opinion. But what I do with things like that is I'll put a note out and people can apply to it. But just contact me because everybody knows this. Any job that I'm doing, I'll bring a couple of people that haven't experienced those things before. So whether it's a show for the Colour Trophy, whether it is TV, whether it's a shoot, Fashion Week, I always put out. So send us your details, myself or Ryan Steedman. Ryan helps me collate all of the teams and we'll put your name down on the team.
Fantastic. So
just contact me directly on social media.
Amazing. Get in touch directly. And then Sarah Barnett has said, how do you think that all of this coronavirus craziness and the lockdown, how do you think it's going to affect the hairdressing industry moving forwards?
Okay, this is all personal, so I think it's very important to say what I'm talking about is my own opinion. So don't sue me after.
No, yeah.
Do you know what I think? Where we're lucky, and I realised very quickly, our job is extremely. You have to have an extreme talent to be a hairdresser. Hairdressing can never be replaced.
No, yeah.
So we will learn. We won't take things for granted because I do think we do. And as hairdressers, we're creative. We tend to. I live in my own little world a lot of the time. We tend to do what we do. Do you know what? I think people are going to really appreciate what we do for them because they'll realise, I've said this, I think we've needed something like this to remove the disposability of what is offered, because on social media, you know, people that aren't experts say they're experts and they'll show hair. You know, influencers and things, they do a really great job, but they're not hairdressers. And you can't do your own hair. And what people are going to realize is actually, no, we can't do our own hair. So this will drive people into salons. I think we're going to appreciate our clients a lot more. I definitely am. And what we're going to do is create spaces that are tranquil and where people can feel good without worrying about feeling good. They can come in, it's not about following a trend. It's not about having what, you know, every single person is having. It's going to be really personal because we touch those clients. I miss, as a hairdresser, I miss touching my clients' heads. And I really realize that I connect. When I'm doing a consultation, I am continuously running through my hands through somebody's head because I think that it relaxes them. And I think we're going to bring that back. I do not think once this is over, hairdressers have anything to worry about. And I'm saying that from somebody who is extremely anxious, who has just set up a business. Honestly, I think we're going to do really well. And again, as a community, we have to keep on talking and sharing.
Definitely. And you touched on your new business there, Adam. So how has that been for you? Obviously, you opened up your amazing new East End salon. Was it in February? A few months
ago? We opened up in the middle of February for a soft launch so that we can make sure everything was running well. We then were open for 4 weeks officially.
And that must have been a huge challenge, obviously, kind of getting a salon up and running, starting from scratch, and then obviously for it to then go into lockdown. So how's that been for you?
Well, what was interesting, it was the old Percy and Reed East salon. So Paul kept West and I had East. And we'd opened 6 years ago as Percy and Reed. So what I did was I wanted to put my personal stamp on it. So Sean Dawson and I in 1999 were on the Fame team together.
I saw that picture on Instagram with all of you together, which was brilliant.
Do you know what? Wasn't it amazing?
2001?
2001 that was quite frightening. We all looked so young. But yeah, so Sean came on, Brian came with me, my art director, and I already had a little team ready, so we all worked on it together. We wanted a salon that was sustainable, so actually a lot of the equipment and the refurbishment was eBay. So it was all old vintage stuff, and we all did it together. We made our chandelier. We did a lot of the stuff together. So
it's worth going to Adam's salon just to look at the chandelier. How do you
chandelier? I'll post a picture after. I made it out of meters and meters and meters of hair that I'd used over the years. So it's hair from shoots and shows and models and celebrities, and we made a chandelier. But we were buzzing. And as I said, I think we never realized the enormity of COVID-19. No. So we didn't think we would ever shut. And we were buzzing, and we had a great strategy for marketing. And, our first ever feature was in Vogue. We were then, we had an incredible buzz. So it was like we lit our match. And again, my BHA collection last year was called Lit, and it's all about lighting this flame. And this was all a big thing for me. And that was blown out. And you know what? We were gutted. But as a team, we have our Zoom team meetings every week. Brilliant. We have a creative team meeting every week. So we have a Tuesday and a Friday meeting. I've got loads more people wanting to come and work for me when this is over. Clients are contacting us, but we hadn't even got a website up.
No, yeah.
And I work really closely with a lot of people, but L'Oreal Professional have been a huge help for us. And one of the things, I know every brand is offering incredible support. So I definitely speak to your brands for help, because we've been getting a lot of help.
Yeah.
All of the publications, it's a time. You guys were doing last week, and it's amazing. But Coty and GHD, who I work with, they've been offering great help. I've been working with the PR at L'Oreal, Danny, who we work very closely, and we're talking about how we're going to communicate. Because also I've had a lot of interest, a lot of people coming to me for advice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, God, I'm not quite sure what to say.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make sure you give the right advice. Yeah, and you want to make sure
of course,
you give the advice. Yeah.
For me as well, that's why I'm saying that this is really personal for me. So take what you want and what you think will work and leave the rest, because that's what I'm doing.
Definitely. And I'm just going to do a little shameless plug for HJ, because in our May issue, we're doing an interiors piece all around your salon. So everyone who wants to see the gorgeousness of Adam's salon and obviously can't come over and have a look just yet, definitely check out our interiors article, which we've done with you.
Yes.
Which is incredible. And I think there's a lot of interior inspiration going on.
Absolutely. And you know, when we're open again, and when the salons are open, if anybody wants to come and visit, just let us know, because we're happy to show people around. It's in Spitalfields. You're off of Brick Lane, so Sophia Salon's around the corner. You've got Radio up on Redchurch Street. You know, there are great salons in that area. So if you wanted to come and see a couple, it's brilliant. But also that area is hugely motivating. So in October, when it's Salon International, if anybody wants to come and see us, around. It's on Fournier Street in Spitalfields. I saw somebody just ask.
Definitely. And I'm just going to do another little shameless plug. James
go ahead.
Well, so Salon International, if you want to tie that in with going and checking out Adam Reed's salon, that's taking place on the 10th to the 12th of October this year. And I think everyone is going to be super ready for networking and wanting to get all of that inspiration from our live stages by the time October comes around.
1,000,000% agree. And do you know what? One of the things that I've really, really noticed, and I think it's interesting, because social media and technology, I think, has taken away from hands-on.
Yeah.
Salon International this year is going to be so important. It's going to be so important. Even if you just go and you just walk around, you're going to see everybody, because we're all going to want to reconnect.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
hopefully we'll be able to hug by that point as well.
Absolutely. And if not, we'll come up with a way of doing it.
Exactly.
Because I go to Asia a lot, there's this little heart thing they do in Asia where you hold your fingers like that, and it's a little heart. Hopefully we'll be able to do that, and we should get that going, because it's such a nice thing. But definitely utilize things like Salon International. I've got a real feeling as well. I love social media. Everybody knows I love social media. But do you know what's interesting for me over this period? Maybe controversial to say. I never shy away from a little bit of controversy. And I'm not going to upset anybody here, but I've seen masses and masses and masses and masses of online education and people doing hair and being educators. Being an educator is really hard. And I think that we're going to see a huge return to people wanting hands-on education. And I've said this, I've been asked to do, I could have filled the last 3 weeks doing education. Really, really, really believe that hands-on for hairdressers is important. And I think at this time, choose carefully who and what you watch, because you're going to pick up bad habits. And going into hands-on education is so important. So really enjoy the education that you're seeing at the moment. But don't forget, hands-on education, going to salons to educate, going to Salon International to see education. That's the way I learned how to be the hairdresser I am today. Everybody knows I assisted. I worked for years assisting. I did everything that I could. That is the best way to learn. Now, in this time,
great advice.
It really is true. And I think watch the people that you enjoy, but watch them with the view to perhaps go to see them when everything gets back to normal. And I know it's going to be difficult to begin with, but online training and seeing what people are doing is a great way then to assess who you're going to go and see. I do masses for Access L'Oreal. I do a lot for GHD, the brands that I work for. But what they do is they drive people to come and see me, and it's the best way. And I keep my courses very small. I only have about 10 people in any course, because I need it to be hands-on. Because I always say, these are the best tool that I have. You know, my GHD Platinum Plus, that works because of this and this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I know that the technology is in there because I work so closely with them to make sure that the tools that I'm using or the color that I'm using is amazing. You know, when I color, I do it so differently that you'd have to be there. I could not teach you that online.
No,
And I
exactly.
think that's the way. So use the platforms that you're seeing to inspire you to move forward when you get back.
So kind of maybe watch a few of these lives in education and
Yeah.
write down who would you love to see live, do education live after this is all over.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
again, I've seen a guy who I absolutely love, Simon Townley. He comes and works with me. He's done some great stuff. James Masters, I saw somebody the other day. It's not my type of color, but what he does
really
is incredible.
cool.
And I get really inspired. Sam Kurzweil. I love what Sophia does. You know, I see Richard Philippart does incredible education. Incredible education. You know, when I've seen Darren Ambrose work, he's amazing. But what you see hands-on, it blows me away.
Definitely. And maybe that's a good tip for salon owners to give to their teams as well. They can do a bit of homework, decide who they would like to invest in terms of education later in the year.
Rob Eaton as well. I love Rob Eaton's education. Jamie Stevens, I love Jamie's education because I think they're really compassionate. I'm a little bit more all over the place, so you really have to concentrate when I'm teaching you. I think that's me in general.
Oh, brilliant. We've got loads of people commenting. We've got a lot of love from Somerset going on, Adam.
Oh, that's where I'm from.
You're going to have a little look through because there's some people that are saying about how much they love what you do, and obviously they're from Somerset.
Oh, that's definitely. I was born in East London but brought up in Somerset, and I had an incredible. I didn't like school at all. Although I started hairdressing when I was 13 because we were allowed to work in salons. So I worked in a salon called Something Else in Minehead, and it was named after the Sex Pistols song. And Simon and Liz, who were my mentors, were just incredible because they were real characters. And I didn't have the best time at school, and they sort of allowed me to be me. And then I went to college in Taunton, I did the last ever year of City and Guilds, which was the best thing I ever did. But Somerset is incredible, and you know, I used to come up to London and go home, and I miss it madly. But London for me was where I could do what I do.
Definitely. And I've just found one of the messages. This was Melissa Hobbs, and she said, do you remember when you used me for a model doing something in Taunton and you had me walking from the salon to wherever we were going in rollers? Nobody did that back then. You were always before your time.
I do, Melissa. I also remember Melissa and I used to go raving together.
Oh, brilliant. You didn't mention that
She's
part.
one of the people that I was a big raver. She was. I also still use rave as a massive part of my influence. I really use it. It's a huge part of my influence. A lot of my show is old rave music. The music that I use for shows is music that I used to listen to at raves because it's quite euphoric and gets you going. But Melissa and I was talking about when I was saying I've been trying to reconnect. She's actually been quite ill with COVID, and she let me. Her and a friend of ours called Shelley. We used to have Beatles and drive around in our Beatles thinking we were the coolest kids in town. But they're saying that I was a massive raver. I literally was the biggest raver. So I used to work in a salon on a Friday, go raving, drive straight back to the salon and work the next day. Long time ago. But Melissa and I, Melissa, my sister Joanna, my best friends Karen and Michelle, they used to let me do so much to their hair. I used to enter every competition and take a picture of myself, get it printed in Boots and send it up. I never got through to anything. And I never got sort of into any stages of anything. But they used to let me do the most incredible hair. And I was always practicing. Even back then, I used to buy loads of products. Samia, a friend of mine, we used to go to Boots in Minehead, spray our hair with Sun-In, put the Sun-In back on the shelf and go because we couldn't afford to buy it. And then we used to buy Country Something hairspray and Studio Line. And, you know, that's when I was 15. And we used to buy these products. That shows it's definitely in my blood. But Melissa, actually, when I was at Charles Worthington, she came to see me. And Yeah, I had the best friends
Oh,
because school for me was difficult, and because I wanted to be a hairdresser, the connotations of being a hairdresser, I was bullied quite bad. But it made me be able to do what I do.
definitely. And it's, as you said before, it's a good time to reflect on all of that and to see how your path gets shaped by what happens throughout your life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
we've got, right, we're running out of time and the time is absolutely
Sorry.
flown. So please do get in your last few questions for Adam. And I'm just going to go back. Somebody asked a bit earlier, Adam, if you can tell us a bit more about the Zoom team calls that you're doing at the moment. I guess what kind of topics do you cover with the team? Like, is it more of just an informal chat? How are you kind of keeping them engaged through those?
Well, we've got a couple of projects going. So what we do is we do how we would structure a team meeting. We do that because I think routine is so important. So what we've tried to do, we do our Friday team meeting because we do our team meetings in the salons every Friday. So we get our admin out of the way. So what we'll do is we'll update them with what we're doing and where we're at and how we're moving forward. We're working on a couple of creative projects with regards to how we're going to communicate us reopening. We're doing a rewind. So again, going back to my rave days, we're going to relaunch the launch. So because we were only open 4 weeks, we're actually going to really push that. We're looking at what we immediately when this started to happen, we'd done a really great thing where we invited NHS staff to come and have a wash and blow dry at the end of their shift, so that they could have the touch, the hands, head on, the massage, hands on massage. And again, that we're looking at ways that we can carry that type of thing on. And we're doing some creative projects. So we've got a couple of things that are coming up. We're doing I'm not going to tell you, but I'll tell you soon. I was just about to let
Oh, we're
something
about
out
to
of the
get an
bag.
exclusive on something there, Adam.
Well, I last year I worked with Alex Baron Howe. Alex Baron Howe. I always call him Baron because of his Instagram. But I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff with him because literally he's a legend, and he took my profile pictures for my awards.
Amazing
Stuff. And I literally fell in love with him. I've admired him from afar for years. So I'm going to be working on a couple of projects with him where I'm also going to bring other hairdressers in. So watch this space.
Amazing stuff. You heard it here first.
And then creative. We're mood boarding, we're tearing, we are inspiring each other. And then it means that when we get back in, we have a really great foundation to build a really great business on creatively, from a business perspective, from education, from our collaborations that we do. And actually we're going to use this time really positively to change the way we were working for the positive.
Brilliant.
And Zoom is brilliant.
So good shout out for Zoom. And we've got a lot of love going on as well, Adam, for the hands-on education. We've got educators saying they can't wait to actually go back to doing the hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
A live audience, and a few people asking how they can find out about the education courses that you do.
We'll be posting all of that on our social media. So follow, I'm Adam Reed Hair. Adam Reed London is the salon and the business. I obviously do courses with JHD. I do courses with L'Oreal. We do bespoke. We're going to do stuff in the salons. And again, a lot of it is going to be what people want. So we're going to do days where it's a day of request. AR, so it's called ARE, but it's Adam Reed Education. You'll see I'm using my AR a lot. And you're going to see a lot of stuff coming through with that.
Fantastic. We've got someone saying, please come to our academy at Holy Corner in Edinburgh, Charlie Miller's. So
I love
people
Charlie
wanting
Miller.
There you go.
Just the Millers and the Millers brand blow my mind. I love every single one of the family. I love Edinburgh, so I'll be up there all the time. You ask me, I'll come. Again, they are one of the iconic brands.
Ask him and he'll come and see you. And another good question, what do you think the spring summer commercial looks are going to be?
Do you know what? I think it's going to be really beautifully, naturally polished hair. And the reason that I was talking about this return to natural looks. So hair that looks well conditioned, that looks like it's got a really good cut in it, that looks like it's styled, but there's a simplicity to it. So sort of think that polished Bridget Bardot-esque thing. I'll always talk about her, but think about that. I think we're going to go back to that. And one of the reasons that I think it's going to be great is because everybody's given their hair a little bit of a rest. I've been telling people to condition your hair, keep treatments on, use oils in your hair. And I really believe that what's going to happen is it's going to give us great canvases. Work on to create beautiful hair.
Amazing. So beautiful hair, that's going to be the spring summer look.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a lot of people are excited about that.
That's good. And you know what? It's a nice thing for us to return to. There are going to be some roots. So there's going to be some challenges. There's going to be grown out blonde. There's going to be probably some bad home colour. And actually, we're going to have a couple of challenges. But I think if we focus on making people look like they've got the best hair that they can possibly have, we're going to be on the right track from a trend perspective.
Amazing. Well, we're pretty much out of time, Adam. So I think everyone... No, don't worry. This has been a fantastic chat. And there's
away
we haven't even really got into kind of session styling at Fashion Week or the fact.
Well, we could do another one. Let's see how long this goes on for, and we could do one focused on session and Fashion Week.
Definitely, I think there's so many things that we could talk about, but the vibe has definitely been that this has been a super positive chat, and I think it's what everybody needs at the moment.
Yeah, stay positive, everybody. It's so important, and do you know what? It's so easy for us just to feel a little bit down and not feel so great, and to feel a little bit confused. That was one thing that I really felt. I was feeling a little bit confused by everything. Stay positive and try to find things. Do you know what I've been doing is baking with my son as well, and reading books. We read The Faraway Tree the other day, and he's so passionate about it, and it was a book that I loved, and to watch him reading it and just stay positive. And do you know what? We're lucky in this industry that we travel. Look at old pictures of where you've traveled. It's such a nice thing. Try a little bit of meditation. You know, the apps that you get are brilliant. But also yesterday, strangely, I listened to Tibetan monk bowl music. They do this thing bowl, and it was incredible. So try those things out so that you're staying positive, but also use social media really positively. I'm trying to post funny pictures and pictures of where I traveled and my top 10 and things. Do it because people are really interested in it.
Exactly. And I guess it's a great time to expand on your mood boards and your inspiration and think about things.
And as I said, probably as a finisher, just look at your old work, because honestly, it's one of the most exciting things to do, to be impressed by things that you've done that you had forgotten about. It releases something in you that is so positive and puts a smile on your face that beats honestly anything else that you can do.
And mate, I think that's a fantastic place to finish. So everybody dig out those old portfolios and pictures from your training days and share them. And also,
even the bad stuff, because that really makes you smile.
Definitely, I bet. Well, we'd love to see your stuff, Adam. Do share the stuff that you found.
I'll start to bring it out. And also, if anybody's worked with me and they've taken pictures, post them and tag me in, because honestly, I think it's quite funny, and I'll do the same when I see other people's stuff.
Definitely. Oh, we'll definitely be watching. And Wig Wednesday.
That's coming later on today. As I said, I'm at a shortage, and I've been trying to call wigs and blockheads and things in. It's impossible because everybody's closed. So there will be one later. Maybe a oh, actually, I've got a couple. No, I'm not going to put one on. I coloured my hair pink for you.
Oh, exactly, which is fantastic. We really appreciate it. Yeah, save the wig for later. So do you want to just do a little plug for when you're doing Wig Wednesday for anyone who wants to follow your account?
So he's got a wig on Wednesday, comes every Wednesday, and it is me styling a wig. So many of my clients are. Some of them are funny. Some of them are actually quite serious. They always look quite funny. But they'll be on every Wednesday, and there'll be some throwbacks to the original ones and then some mix-ups now. And if anybody knows where I can get some do let me know, because I'm having trouble getting them sent over.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, if anyone knows, send Adam a message, a DM on Instagram, and let him know. Fantastic. And that's a great idea as